Now we got big shoes to fill there. Well, little shoes, I guess. But the where do we go with offensive coordinator, man? What are your thoughts there?
Man, look, I really want to just go in here and snatch up one of these hot shot coordinators. I was thinking, man, maybe.
What's going on? Welcome back, everybody. We are a week removed from our devastating loss to San Francisco. It was pretty hush hush in Dallas for a couple days following that loss, and then a bunch of news came out. 6 assistant coaches were removed of their duties, and then we found out earlier in the week that actually we found out during the NFC Championship game that Kellen Moore was relieved
Yeah.
of his duties. You know, Jerry's gonna Jerry.
Of course, Jerry gonna do that, man. I want to say, wasn't it like 5 years ago when the Eagles was on the way to the Super Bowl? Didn't he drop the Jason Garrett news, fired his ass right in the middle of the game as well?
It was
Yeah,
something like that,
but I
man.
mean, yeah, like you said, that's what
Jerry's
Jerry
funny.
does, man. Hey, I would say this. I never wanted to see nobody lose their job, right? But we all knew change was needed, right? We know we have the perfect, you know what I mean, defense coordinator, Dak Quinn. Everything is good on this side of the ball, and I think for Mike McCarthy moving forward, like what is his pitch to Jerry? You know what I mean? What is going to be different here? And I just think they came to an agreement that hey, you know what I mean, Kellen Moore, man, we fell short. I do think he's you know what I mean, still an up and coming offense coordinator, but for whatever reason, I just think that him and Dak duo were kind of met his peak. You know what I mean? It's not much coming from that
Agreed.
Dak at this point. I just think he needs more of a veteran experience, somebody that he could lean on a little bit more, and just kind of give him something different to see out there.
I think with McCarthy, man, back to back playoff seasons, I believe 12 wins back to back years. He kind of had a leg to stand on, you could say, and I'm pretty sure I feel like he went to Jerry and was like, "Look, man, this is what I've accomplished, but I think I can accomplish more if I can move on from this offensive coordinator." And like you said, we don't want anyone to lose their job, but I think Kellen Moore has a lot to learn, and a change of scenery might even help him out, you know, in the long run, and getting a different view of things over in Los Angeles. I just hope it works out for Justin Herbert over there. But fantastic news, man! Fantastic news that we get to keep Dan
Yeah,
Quinn.
that's big.
Oh boy, we thought, man, that I mean, obviously we thought Kellen was gone, but we thought we were gonna have all new coordinators next year. But I think with Dan Quinn, to be honest, he's like buying his time because he will get a head coaching job, and I wonder if he's sitting around because if it doesn't work out with Mike, maybe he gets promoted, you
Oh,
know,
100%.
or maybe he's waiting for a better opportunity to open up because like what if a Belichick retires or like a good vacancy pops up? You know what I mean?
I mean, I do think both can be true, but I'm leaning towards to the beginning of what you said. Where I mean, it just makes the most sense. It's like you know, you go to one of these teams, like you said, let's say Denver, or I'm not sure what other jobs he was lined up for, but you have a lot of pressure to win right there right away. You know what I mean? Dallas, you're already getting
Right.
paid. You're one of the highest paid coordinators in the league. This is essentially your team. I mean, the last draft was completely on him. He gets another draft to completely make this up. And I think I'm pretty sure he's laid back, feet up a little bit. He's catching the heat. He knows that Mike McCarthy, especially with the fine of Kellen Moore, he's kind of on his last leg, man. You know what I mean? I think he knows next in line. You hear the way that Jerry raves about this guy. We heard all you know what I mean, the misleading, you know, the headlines that was coming out last year where he was pretty much leading on
Right.
to like, hey, I was signed Dan Quinn on to be a head coach. So he knows what's on the table. And what better job is to stick with your team, stay here, sign on the offensive coordinator, somebody hot shot. He's done it with Kyle Shanahan before, but he already has the team, you know, kind of in his grip right now. But like you say, it's great news. Greatest news I could have foreseen coming into this offseason. I think I was like 90% sure that he would be gone, man. So I'm glad you stand. Big.
Absolutely. Me too. And I think it's important too for the development of like Michael Parsons as well, man. I feel happy for those guys, man. I know they appreciate him. And he's got a good thing going on that Dallas defense. Like, why leave and inherit what could possibly be a mess, you
Yeah.
know? But on the other side of things, we do have vacancies all over the place. And I think the most important position outside of hiring an offensive coordinator is going to be the offensive line coach, man. And I think that should be of the utmost priority. Now, I don't know what availabilities there are out there if there's someone already sitting on the staff, you know what I mean, to come in and fill that role. Shit, what if it's Jason Peters?
Hey, could be, man. But Philbin sucks, you know. Well, he did suck. Yeah, like he is what it is, man. Like I just see
Right,
it's kind of like he had no improvement, you know what I mean, along this offensive line. It wasn't a scheme. It definitely wasn't like a personal coaching or anything, you know what I mean. He tried to take credit for the Terrence
right,
Steele development. I think we all know all credit went to Duke Manuel on that. Um, I never hear anything, or even when I listen to like some of these young offensive linemen, I never hear them say, "Oh, I learned Philbin taught me this." It's always, "Oh, Zach Martin showed me this," or I mean, they're learning from
right.
the players.
Tyron
Yeah,
Smith.
Tyron Smith and Jason Peters, like they learning from the Hall of Famers. But I never really got the feel that he was bringing anything to the table as far as like teaching these guys up, man. So I'm definitely excited about that move. Definitely moving on from Joe Philbin. I wish we can get like a Bill Callahan or somebody like that, back in here, one of those top tier guys, man, for real.
I think it was especially concerning too when Steele went out. The O line was bad, like real bad. But it just kind of stayed that way, and the fact that it didn't improve the rest of the way, man. Outside of signing Jason Peters, like that's concerning for offensive line coach. Like you can't get these guys to improve during the season, then something's not clicking, and you can't just blame that on the offensive coordinator. So now we got big shoes to fill there. Well, little shoes, I guess. But the where do we go with offensive coordinator, man? What are your thoughts there?
Man, look, I really want to just go in here and snatch up one of these hot shot coordinators. I was thinking, man, maybe I mean, I'm hearing a Ben Slowick, I mean, over there at San Fran, their offensive game coordinator, passing game coordinator, kind of behind the scenes over there. I'm just one of these guys from McVatry or something. I just want a new face in here. If Mike McCarthy, I'm sorry, is going to call plays. I don't have a problem with that, but I do want him to bring somebody in here that can like bring a different twist. I want to see this scheme going. I don't want no old dinosaur no more. I know I'm hearing of the
Right,
Schottenhammers and all these guys that's been here, done it before. I get it. I don't want a young guy like Kellen Moore either. I don't want to like make it one of those things, but just give me somebody in there that just bringing something different to the table, man. I mean, somebody from that San Fran tree, or I mean, even McVay, something. I mean, he has experience with Kyle Shanahan, Dan Quinn. I mean, so maybe Dan Quinn is in his ear, like, hey, I mean, I had Kyle Shanahan over here in Atlanta. Take a look at this guy that was possibly like, at that point, like behind the scenes or something like that. So somebody though.
right. I think too. I mean, assuming we retain both running backs and we get another weapon, I think that the system that was being run, which might have add we are finally free of the Jason Garrett shenanigans. Like that was the last of it with Kellen Moore, so that's also
Yeah.
good news. But I think that the people that we have on this team today, like that system just outdated that. You know what I mean? So I wonder who they can come into. What can I say? Really use our weapons the way we see a Kyle Shanahan use all of his pieces. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I mean?
And to be honest, not even to go back there, but I think I mean that said a lot. I think everybody's seen that. We watched the game, and when a pilot goes out like that, it just was no adjustments, man. And when you look on a complete opposite side of the field, it's easy to say, "Oh, I don't have this and I don't have that," but then you're looking at a guy who's what I mean, actually known for doing that. You look at Kyle Shanahan, he's down on Brock Purdy. You know what I mean? And you know,
Mm-hmm.
Christian McCaffrey, he's out. You see Elijah Mitchell in there. And even before Elijah Mitchell was there, he can use any running back. Whether it was Zeke, I'm looking at it like we
Right.
all say Zeke is wise, but you go ahead and put Zeke on San Fran and watch the things that a Kyle
Mm.
Shanahan would do for him. So I just think, man, that showed him right away. Then we see what Philly was able to do to that defense, and I think Jerry sat back and was like, okay, I see what you were saying, Mike. You know what I mean? Like we got to make a
Right.
move.
It's, especially I think about this, man. If Kyle Shanahan went over and called plays for us after the half in that divisional round, and Kellen had to go call plays on the other side, what do you think the final score of that game is? We would blow San
Oh,
Francisco out
facts.
of the water. You
Hmm.
know what I mean? Like we got dudes that Kellen just didn't know how to use them.
Yeah, and I put it like this: a lot of people they brought it back to Dak. Was it a Dak thing, a Kellen thing? I still think Kellen is a good offensive coordinator. Don't get me wrong. But I just think for him, you just never knew what you was going to expect. You know what I mean? Like he had his great
Right.
games, he had his highs, but then it was bad. It was just vanilla. Like, you know what I mean? The last game of the
Mm-hmm.
season, and it's like at the most when you think he getting his going, he just reverts back to his old self. So I'm glad personally, you know what I mean, the Jason Garrett ghost, the last or whatever that was, is out the door. I wish him all the success, man. I hope he goes over to LA and kill it. But I just think for this team, we needed something new, especially Dak. Man, Dak is a veteran now,
Right.
but I just don't think I get the sense that Dak couldn't really come to him in a sense or just kind of talk to him about the game or get anything from him. Like when Dak would throw those interceptions, I never really seen, Kellen Moore over there talking the game, asking him what he was seeing on the iPad. It just seemed like I always seen Dak by himself, and they're just trying to figure it out by himself, man. Like I always said that, once Dak lost to John Kitna, I think that took a lot from him. I mean, I really do. He had a
Mhm.
veteran guy he could lean on, but once, that went out the door, who could he lean on? I mean, because he always
Right.
had a Tony
Absolutely.
Romo. He always had I think they always said Kellen Moore was great for his mind, as far as seeing the field and things like that. But, it can only be so much, man. So wish him all the luck.
No, I think Kellen as a mentor to Dak, especially when he was still on the active roster, was terrific for Dak's progression. But if you watch Dak with Kellen Moore around, like he slowly went up and up and up, and then he just kind of plateaued, man. So like you said, I do think they reached their peak, and it is time to bring in somebody else with some new ideas and see where Dak can go
Yeah.
from there.
Like, what are you going to say to Dak? Dak probably like, bro, you
Right.
trash, bro. What you going to say to me?
Right. I
I
beat you
took
out,
your
bro.
job,
Like,
bro. Dak, you need to do this. He probably like, did you do that? You know? So I mean, just get somebody else in there, man. It's like I said, it sucks, but I'm excited. I'm kind of excited to see Mike McCarthy finally call plays. I'm gonna be honest. If you think about earlier in the year, I think
hmm
a big turning point for us. We had the first game, and it was bad. It was all bad. But you just remember, I think it was like it had to be week 2. Matter of fact, I think it was week 1. Remember, McCarthy came under and he came out. I'm sorry, and everybody thought he was throwing Kellen on the bus, which it could have been throwing him under the bus, but he came out and was like, "Look, man, option routes and all this, man, you got to do a better job of getting your guys, involved." And we not dealing pretty much. What I was saying it is we don't have an Amari Cooper out there no more. We don't have all these veteran
hmm
guys that can play like that. You got to play to the strength of your team. And pretty much saying that, Kellen wasn't doing that. He just had his system and was saying, "Hey, I'm gonna just plug anybody in here, and this is what we're doing. You can't do that. Got to adjust."
Right. And I will say too, like before we get out of here, man, I am really proud of McCarthy. I think he's accomplished a lot in his time with Dallas. It hasn't always been the best, but it definitely hasn't been as we're not going 8-8 like we were with Garrett every year.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like so he has been able to do more with more as well,
yeah,
but I think he finally did earn the leverage to speak up to Jerry and like say, "Hey, I want to make a decision here. Like, do you trust me or no?" And I think that's terrific.
absolutely, man. Uh, like you say, he's done an amazing job. Just if you think about it before this year, and you ask, fans around, like, what is your view of McCarthy? I think a lot of people were still on the fence. You had a lot of people calling for, Sean Payton and different things like that. But then at the end of this year, even with us losing the way we did, and then Sean Payton still being out there, you ask that same questions. Usually the 4-letter networks and ESPN and all of them, they will be running with the story. Sean Payton out there, you heard not no chatter, So that just shows you
Right.
what he was able to do, the confidence he instilled in this building, the confidence Jerry has in him. Jerry shut it up right away. So Mike McCarthy, it is, man. I'm still excited for the future. We still got some football to watch. It's tough that we're not in it, but we are for a huge offseason, man. A lot of stuff to talk about. But nevertheless, man, it's exciting, man. We'll be back.